Hey, here's Dynasty Deserves here. Just here to make my 43rd and 44th picks. Before I do that though, I first have a response to Paul's video, and I also have some thoughts on some of the other teams here in the league before I go ahead and make those picks. So to get started, I guess we'll start off with Ryan, mostly because he's the easiest target in the league. So Ryan's what I like to call over-leveraged at the quarterback position. He's been shopping around two of his quarterbacks, and a third one just sucks. So of his five, only two are really usable, which is a big problem for him since he can't trade the other two. Daniel Jones and Jared Goff were both first-round picks, and he's definitely not getting a first-rounder for those. So good luck with that. And then future NFL tight end Josh Allen. You could use him in your roster maybe, or you could trade him. But he's not really going to be usable if he can't hit his receivers over 60% of the time. So that's a big bummer for Josh Allen. But yeah, that's a bummer, Ryan. Sorry you're over leveraged. Good luck with that the rest of the year. Another player I'd like to mention is Shinwoo Mun. Shinwoo, in all honesty, I'm really liking your receivers this year. You've got Alshon Jeffrey, Amari Cooper, Corey Davis, Mike Williams. What's that? Oh, it's 2020. It's not 2017. Shoot. Well, never mind then. Sorry, your wide receiver's not looking that good anymore. Let's see. Who's next? Why don't we take this time to start addressing Mr. H's comments in his video about the Fort Zumwalt West High School hockey team. First of all, those comments were very out of line. He said that Fort Zumwalt West was a horrible organization, and Fort Zumwalt South is a good organization. I just like to remind him, and Scott and Johnny for that matter, of how many wins Fort Zumwalt South had against Fort Zumwalt West when Scott and Johnny were on the team. I think Chris could maybe help us out with this one. It's a big donut, 0. They had 0 wins when Fort Zumwalt West played South, and Scott and Johnny were on the team, so I don't know if that really signifies that South is a well-run organization, but and one of those losses they had was an 18-3 Mercy. So yeah, Fort Zumwalt South, really well-run organization. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, moving along with some of my comments related to the other teams. Johnny, I guess we'll go to you next. You do realize that the NFL has bye weeks, right? So yeah, you might want to start filling out that bench of yours. Otherwise you're going to have some problems during the year. Let's see, Scott. Oh yes, Scott. How could I forget? I was doing some thinking, and I finally realized why you named your team the Dynasty Champions. I don't know why it took me this long to think of this, but it makes perfect sense now, and I'm sure this was the reasoning behind it. But your team is basically like the league's farm system. You wait for the players to get good on your team, and then you trade them to the league champions. So, I finally get it now. It all makes sense. Who's next? Let's go Patrick. Patrick, upon further inspection, you might want to start buying some COVID tests for your team, because it's really starting to look like a nursing home, man. You've got, let's see, Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Jackson, Mark Ingram. Jeez, I could keep going. You've got at least like 8 guys that are over the age of like 28 to 32 on your team. So you might want to start investing in some tests and start sanitizing everything, because they're in the at-risk category. So just thought I'd give you the heads up there that you might want to start thinking about those things for your team. Who's next? Let's go to Austin. Austin, after looking at your team, if the NFL bans running the football, I think you've got a really solid roster. because other than running backs, I mean, who needs those guys, right? Yeah, so then I guess moving on to, let's go with Chris. You know, you're the Krispy Kremes. Pretty solid name. You call your players the Donuts. And it makes perfect sense because a donut is how many wins you're going to have this year. A big fat 0. So, you know, that makes perfect sense. Moving back to Paul. So, Paul, you were mentioning in your very first video where you drafted Justin Herbert, you were kind of ribbing Alex for drafting a Wisconsin running back, saying, you know, it was such a horrible move to draft a Wisconsin running back. And then you immediately followed that up by drafting an Oregon quarterback. What are you doing? That just you're setting yourself up for a roast there. I mean, my goodness. Who's next? Who haven't I roasted yet? Let's see. How about Kevin? Kevin, you know, I mean, could you have had a worse expansion draft? I mean, I'm starting to see why you went with a Patriots themed team name, because just like the Patriots, you have little to no offensive talent and no quarterback. So I think the discount Belichick's really fits your team well. And then going back to Chris, sticking with that expansion draft, you know we have a salary cap, right? I mean, my goodness, like Keenan Allen, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Ben Roethlisberger, these were like your first 4 picks, man. You used up almost all your salary cap. So, you know, really good job. And then let's see, who haven't I roasted yet? Let's see. Oh yeah, Alex Boydoc's next. So yeah, Alex, you know, tight end you over there. You might want to start investing in some Aleve because you're gonna need it for Kirk Cousins because his back's gonna start hurting midway through the season from having to carry your entire roster. So you better hope that he doesn't get injured. You better put a bubble around him or something, because without him, you're gonna finish in like 11th or 12th place or something. Actually, probably 11th because Kevin will be in 12th. So yeah, but invest in some Aleve and you'll be all right. And then Mr. B, you know, I actually think you really do have a good team this year. So kudos to you for assembling that roster. But you know, I'm just a little lucky that you don't have another draft pick, because you'd definitely be copying this video because you don't have any original content that you can come up with. So yeah, that's all I gotta say there. Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and make my picks now. So with the 43rd overall pick in the Dynasty League Rookie Draft, the Heroes Dynasty Deserves selects Quez Watkins, wide receiver, Philadelphia Eagles. And then with the 44th overall pick, we'll go ahead and select Albert Okwebunam, tight end, Denver Broncos.